It's Sunday morning, not Sunday evening, so I'm not procrastinating. So my very first concert was Metallica, in support of their Load album. My mom really liked them, so she bought us all tickets to them when I was still in middle school, and it was amazing. Lots of fire, lots and lots of fire. So my main musical sensibilities lie in heavy metal, bands like Lamb of God and Chimaira and Opeth and of course Pantera. Then I'll branch out a bit into stuff like Dream Theater because they are ridiculously talented, and that of course leads into Rush because they're also ridiculously talented. There's a band called Gavin Dance, which the best way I can describe it is either fractal rock or Mandelbrot pop. They're sort of really weird and all over the place, but awesome. And I also really like classical music. One of my favorite artists is Mozart, who is sort of like, the closest I can figure is Stevie Ray Vaughan, in that music was his plaything. And I also really like Bach on the other end of the spectrum, who the closest I can compare him to is probably Frank Lloyd Wright, who isn't actually a musician, but he had these grand, huge pieces of architecture that were beautiful, yes, but they were thoughtful and pre-planned and meticulous, and they're just two different ways of coming at music, and they both produce extreme beauty, and I think that's awesome. Some of the other people I like are pretty much all online. YouTube is awesome. I love all the people on it. 331 E-Rock, The Human Tim, great for the covers. Lindsay Sterling, just because she's like a manic little pixie playing a violin. I also like people like Luna J.A.M or the entire catalog of Candy Rat, especially their acoustic stuff is just amazing. And sometimes just random bands like The Rise of Science, who does Beautiful Agony and the Asteroids Galaxy Tour, which I don't know what that chick is on, but she's interesting and she can sing well, so good for you. I also like people who have stellar control over their voices, like Kate Miller-Heidke, who is just awesome and fantastic. And finally, we have the Diablo Swing Orchestra. The only way I can possibly describe them is that they're the mutant offspring of Kiss and Pantera merged with Benny Goodman, and then you take that abomination and you marinate it in a heaping helping of opera and Satan. That's Diablo Swing Orchestra. They're from Sweden, they have a cello player, and they're huge in Mexico. Nothing about them makes sense until you listen to them, and then all of a sudden you're going, oh, these people are awesome! But they're not really well known in the US, so if y'all could like spread the word, even if you don't like the music, I know that's kind of selfish of me, but I really want them to come here, to the US, because I'm broke and I can't go to Europe. I guess I could go to Mexico, slip through the border at Tijuana. They don't actually require a passport there because there's so much cross traffic, just a valid ID, so I could do that. So yeah, that's pretty much the music that I like, or at least some of it. I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting stuff. I'm gonna remember like halfway through editing this. I'm gonna debate with myself whether or not I actually want to set up everything and film again, so I probably won't because I'm lazy. So see you next week.